After achieving victory against Waldstein and the elite Christ forces, something happened within the Nightblade. The Nightblade became divided. You had the Reformists, who thought it was necessary to strengthen their power and fend off the intruders, and you had the Moderates, who restricted the teachings of their knowledge in favor of living quietly and using the least amount of power as possible. With the fight over, the village should have been back to being peaceful, but there were power struggles and discord between the two factions, and these small quarrels would never end. The Reformist part of the Nightblade left their land and became the guardians of the Shrine of Seclusion. Today, they are a clan that wields swords as long as they are tall. The Moderates continued to be responsible for the Nightblade, and even now remained in their homeland, succeeding the legacy of the original Nightblade. And even though Kuon led them into their first battle and came out victorious, his position was sought after during the Nightblade's eternal strife. They would later move to eliminate their former hero, Kuon, on the moderate faction he now led. And sadly, they would actually fight one another. Casualties struck both sides. Many of the Nightblade lost their life, until finally an elder who survived the moderates was forced to make a decision. The knowledge of EX, which had become the source of this conflict to begin with, would be divided into two and sealed within the bodies of two villagers. Kuon volunteered himself, and Kuon's younger sister, Linne. Kuon would become a living curse with no end, making him immortal in both body and mind. Linne, on the other hand, would have the curse burned into her soul, and she would live through endless reincarnations. Both of them became the guardians of eternity. At this time though, Kuon, burdened by this curse, came to a decision. He left his sister Linne in the care of one of his most worthy and trusted allies, Waldstein himself. Soon after, they went to the world outside of the village. They believed that staying in the village would only ignite more strife, and with that in mind, they wandered away. And so, the siblings walked their own paths. The roots of the Nightblade, with once a prosperous history, gave way to the cursed princess and the man of eternity, who wandered alone. And even though Kuon was left with his body and mind, Linne's fate fell into something much more darker. And since she goes through reincarnations, she would actually take the body of a random girl multiple times. And as time passed, it became taxing on her. She soon builds up massive amounts of guilt due to her own curse. And what makes things worse is some Nightblade members actually try to assist the Princess of the Night, Linne. They would normally use purification weapons to rid of her curse. But sadly, for the most part, it always fails. And thus the reincarnation cycle continues, and Waldstein is always there by her side no matter what. And with the guilt consuming her, she decides to find a way throughout all these centuries to rid of her curse. And then we have Kuon, who at the end of the day is, for the most part, a mysterious person. After gaining immortality, he kind of left the Nightblade. He is still a member, obviously, but he's not affiliated with any groups anymore. He is acting on his own. And from what we know, he has also become a rebirth. So with him included, he is one of the 6 only rebirths that the world has. And from what we know, he is the puppet master of nearly every single event that has happened in the game. How Seth has his daggers, why Hilda is actually aiming to become a rebirth of her own. With all that included, nearly everybody is coming to this one single place for this one special event. What plan does Kuon have in store? We don't know as of yet. But sooner or later, I'm pretty sure we will know. Whether it be good, or whether it be bad.